Kind of feel like I'm in church right now. How you guys doing? All right, guys, I need you to join in with me. When I say something, you just say it right after me, okay? Say neighbor.
Neighbor.
I love you.
I love you.
Say neighbor.
Neighbor.
Jussie Smollett didn't do it. Yo, I think Jussie Smollett is the O.J. Simpson of my generation, you know? Because white people were like, he definitely did, and black people were like, he definitely didn't too, but we can't say anything. I like Denver because there's a lot of white women, and I'm not very good at hitting on white girls, but one thing I do have is my one and only pickup line. I just go up to them and I'm like, hey, you like chocolate? One time I was hitting on a girl and I was like, hey, you like chocolate? And she was like, I don't know, is it gluten-free? I was like, I don't know. I don't know the nutritional value of a human, but so we were kind of talking later that night and we were going back and forth, and at the end of the night we were leaving the club and she was like, hey, I had a good time. I think we should do this again, but I gotta be honest. I've never met a person like you before. I was like, a person like me? What do you mean? You've never met another Pisces? She's like, no, I've never met like a person like you before. And I was like, do you mean a black person? She's like, yeah. And I was like, well, like, what do you want me to say in this situation? What I should have said to change the trajectory of this woman's life. She said, I've never met a person like you before. And I should have said, if you tell anybody, I'll kill you. Probably wouldn't have worked. You know what the equivalent to that joke is? Remember when you're growing up and your parents were like, stop crying, I'll give you a reason to cry? Yeah. That joke's like, stop being racist or I'll give you something to be racist about. All right. So we ended up dating for like 3 months. And yeah, low standards. And we finally stopped dating just because she would take stuff I would tell her and use it kind of against me. One night we were laying in bed and she was like, hey, babe, what do you want for dinner? And I was like, pizza. Pizza always sounds good. And she was like, Papa John's or Papa Murphy's? Now, I had told her about maybe a month into our relationship that I grew up without a dad. He wouldn't play the hide and seeks when I was 5 years old, and I haven't seen him since. Yeah, he's a world champion. He's crushing it. So I told her that in confidence. I told her that, and she used it against me. And she said, hey, what kind of pizza do you want? And I was like, I don't know, whatever works. And she was like, do you want Papa John's or Papa Murphy's? And I was like, I don't really want either of those. And she just goes, is it because you grew up without a father? I was like, no, I just don't want crappy pizza, like. Also, make some noise if you're spiritual. Is anyone out there spiritual? I think saying you're spiritual is just another way of saying you're annoying. Like I'm trying to watch TV, get those candles out my face, So that didn't work out. And I like being in Denver just because, it's a different culture. It's a different environment. Like being in Colorado is one of the only places that you see where you've seen people like blackout drunk, completely hammered drunk, but they're still carrying around a Nalgene bottle with a bunch of stickers on it, the 14ers they call them, Like, how'd you climb that 14er when you can't climb that step? You know what I'm saying? All right. I just got back from Montana. Make some noise if you've been to Montana. Yeah. No reason to go. I just got back there, and I went on a fishing trip with one of my really good friends. And I'm black. You're welcome. And my best friend who I went with, his name is Jordan. Now, Jordan, we don't know what race he is. He's like if you went to Jamba Juice and said, hey, surprise me. Like, we're not sure what he's mixed with. And so we're in a place called Fishtail, Montana, and we get there and we're walking down the street. And we're going to this fly shop to learn about the price of licenses. So we're walking down the street, and this little girl comes out of the store. She's maybe 4 or 5 years old. She comes out, she points directly at me, and she goes, look, Mommy, a Blackfeet person. Yes, that was my reaction. It was super quiet, like, when you drop your phone or you drop a baby. Like, I'm not exactly sure what I should be doing. And so the mom's staring out. The mom was like, oh, my God, I'm so sorry. She just learned about a Native American reservation called the Blackfoot people. She saw you. I'm so sorry. And the reason I wasn't upset is because racism isn't born, okay? Racism is taught. So this little girl wasn't being racist. She learned about the Blackfoot people, saw a black person, made a correct assumption, my feet are black. I would have given her a gold star if I had it. So we kind of continue on. We're like, man, that was crazy. He's like, yeah. So we go into this fly shop, and this guy behind the counter is just looking at me and my friend Jordan, just watching. And he looks at my friend Jordan, he goes, "Hey, man, you from the Crow Reservation?" And Jordan's like, "No, I'm just up here fishing with my friend Eeland for the week." And the guy takes a long, hard look at me, and before he can say anything, I'm like, "Yeah, I'm from the Blackfoot Reservation." Jordan had to pay $85 for a license, and I didn't have to pay anything, because when you're from a reservation in Montana, licenses are free. So, yeah, racism works like 3/5 of the time. Yeah, some of you paid attention in class. So I asked the guy behind the counter, and I was like, "Well, what's your name?" He's like, "My name's White Claw." All right, my name's Eeland Stribbling. You guys have a good night. Thank you.